You see someone adopting a bad behavior, whatever it is, closing a project in an unprofessional way, communicating in an unacceptable way with a colleague or with a client, or basically adopting any sort of behavior that is merely not okay. What do? Well, quite obviously, you want to give the person some feedback. You want the person to change that behavior, and you need to make sure that the person listens to you. Now, negative feedback is something that can be extremely tricky because there is a very high chance that if you don't do it correctly, the person will get defensive. And if that happens, you end up not conveying the message. And on top of that, you end up wasting time because you're trapped in an endless argument of who said what and who did what and who accused who of what. And it's just not the point. So how do you give negative feedback in a way that ups your chances of succeeding and passing on the information in a way that is going to be listened to the most? You do that by framing it in a way that encourages the person to reason on finding a solution to his or her unacceptable behavior or ineffective behavior, and you leave the choice on what to do exactly to the person. It sounds really counterintuitive, but let me explain it for a second. Feedback at its core is a form of control. You tell someone to do something and you expect execution. But we don't like to be controlled. So because of that, when someone is trying to control us, we're going to reject it by default. Or we're going to accept it, but try to avoid doing it if we can. But by letting the person reason, or asking the person his or her perspective about a fact, listening to his or her reasoning, letting the person figure out the consequences, and making a choice on what to do next, basically coaching the person to finding a solution, you can avoid this defensiveness, or you can avoid the risk that the person will feel controlled because, well, you're leaving them the choice on what to do, and you up the chances of your negative feedback or constructive feedback, if you prefer, being more successful. What do you think? Have you seen this happening before? Let me know. Thank you, and talk soon.